If you think tactics or the players alone are the reasons behind our current form, then you are wrong, guys. There is something off happening behind the scenes, and last night's game is the clearest proof of that. Arne Slot is not only failing to fix the problems that have been haunting us over and over again, but it honestly feels like he might have lost the dressing room as well. And that is the part that hurts the most. Even with all the bad results this season, we still kept some faith that Slot could turn things around. But after this 4-1 loss against PSV, that faith has been shattered. It is not only about the tactics anymore, it is also about the way he is handling the squad. You want proof? Hit the like and subscribe buttons and let us break down exactly what is going on. Let us start with the lineup because on paper, we really could not have asked for much more. Mamardashvili was back in goal with Milos Kerkez, Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate and Curtis Jones making up the backline. Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch and Dominic Szoboszlai were in midfield, while Cody Gakpo, Mo Salah and Hugo Ekitike led the attack. Yes, maybe a few players needed some rest and maybe a couple deserved to be benched based on recent form, but overall this is our strongest team. You look at that lineup and you expect control, energy and a reaction. Instead, what we got was the complete opposite. The game started slowly from our side, and honestly we can understand why. A poor run of results and a series of bad performances can hit the confidence of any team. You could sense the hesitation in our play. And because of that, PSV took control during the early stages of the match. They pressed us in a 4-4-2 shape as you can see on the screen, matching our build-up structure and going man-to-man to force us into long balls. Their two strikers took turns pressing our centre-backs whenever they received the ball, while at the same time blocking passing lanes into our midfield. This meant Van Dijk and Konate had almost no time to think or pick out proper passes. Every time they tried to play through the middle, PSV's midfielders were already on top of ours the moment the ball arrived. Central access was basically gone, and we were pushed into uncomfortable areas right from the start. Another problem was Kerkez's struggle to handle pressure in deep areas. In this sequence, you can see him receive the ball out wide. Instead of taking a touch that opens up his body and gives him a view of the pitch, he takes a touch that basically stops the ball right under him instead of letting it roll forward even a little. Because of that, his marker has a much easier job. He can sprint straight at him without having to adjust his run, and this forces Kerkez either backwards or into a wide area with no real passing options. A simple first touch could have changed the whole moment, but instead it put him in trouble right away. The problem here is that we have seen these same issues with Kerkez before, with the Galatasaray game being a perfect example. Months have passed and there is still no real improvement in how he handles pressure. We are not blaming the player because we did not bring him in for his build-up ability. This is where Slot has to take responsibility for how he uses his players. Having Kerkez takes part in deep build-up is clearly not getting the best out of him, and it keeps putting him in situations where he struggles. Now, even with the slow start and the penalty we conceded, we still managed to work our way back into the game. Things started to shift around the 18th minute after a sequence where we finally broke through PSV's high press. In this moment, you can see Jones doing the complete opposite of what Kerkez had done earlier, and this is exactly what we have been missing in our deep build-up phase. First, there was much better movement off the ball from our midfielders. When Konate received the ball here, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai were already drifting wide and overloading the right side. By the time the ball reached Jones, Gravenberch had already moved behind the opposition player and was in the perfect position to receive a pass. Now, look at the difference between the touch Jones takes and the one Kerkez took earlier. Jones was instantly facing forward, which gave him the option to play a lofted pass toward Gravenberch. Also pay attention to his body shape. He set himself up in a way that made it seem like he was going long. That is what allows Jones to disguise his passes. The defender expects one thing, but Jones calmly plays the ball inside to Szoboszlai instead. From there, a quick pattern of pass and move helped us break through PSV's press. And from that moment on, their block was pushed deeper, and we finally started to take control of the game. The equaliser came, and from that point on we actually played some good football for the rest of the half, good enough to take the lead, but we did not. Fine, no problem. We were at home, we grew into the game, we equalised, and then started to dominate, so you would expect us to come out in the second half full of energy and ready to carry that momentum. But what happened next is exactly why we believe there is more going on than tactics or individual ability. The way we started the second period was completely different from the first. We looked slow, flat, and out of ideas. We were easy to defend, and there was none of the sharpness we had shown earlier. Meanwhile, PSV suddenly had space to play through us and break on us with ease. In the first half, we controlled their transitions really well and kept their threats quiet. In the second half, all of that disappeared. And then the same old problem showed up again. We had an extra player on the defensive line, our press became passive, our midfield got pulled out of shape, and we were punished without much effort from them. Let us show you exactly how it happened. Here, there was no pressure from our first line, which made it far too easy for their player to play the central pass. But at first, this was not a big problem because Gravenberch was close to their midfielder and forced the ball back. The real issue appears right after that. The ball goes wide and then back again, but watch how their midfielder steps onto Gravenberch to pull him out of position. He drags him away with almost no effort, and that opens up the space behind our midfield line. Why does this happen so often? It comes from Slot's insistence on always keeping an extra defender on the last line. Because of that, our centre-backs rarely step into midfield to close these gaps or stop these situations before they develop. Once that space opens, finding the free man becomes simple, and in this sequence that led to the goal, the player could even carry the ball forward without any real pressure. It makes it far too easy for teams to create chances against us. This issue has been around since last season, and even now it keeps costing us. Teams like Galatasaray, Chelsea, and PSV have all scored by taking advantage of the exact same problem. It is something opponents know they can exploit, and until it is fixed, we will keep getting punished for it. From that moment on, and with how we started the second half, there was no going back. In the end, when you put everything together, it becomes clear that our problems are a result of tactics and also some off-field things going on. Yes, the build-up issues, the passive pressing, and the gaps between the lines are real. Yes, certain players are struggling in roles that do not suit them. And yes, others like Konate are far away from their usual levels. But when a team flips from playing with energy in one half to looking lifeless in the next, something deeper is going on. And that is why we keep coming back to the dressing room situation. These players do not suddenly forget how to press or how to move. They do not suddenly lose all intensity. Moments like the second half against PSV make you wonder if the trust between the manager and the squad has been shaken. You can see it in the body language at times, the slow reactions, the lack of urgency. When a team is fully behind the manager, even during tough periods, you usually see fight and unity. Right now, that is not always obvious. We also cannot ignore the emotional side of football. The loss of a teammate like Jota would affect any group of players. Even when they try to stay focused and professional, moments like that stay with a squad. It can drain energy, affect motivation, and make it harder to stay sharp when things go wrong on the pitch. We are not saying this is the full reason, but it would not be surprising if it has played a part in the team's mood and mentality. So as much as we talk about tactics and mistakes, the real question is whether this team still feels connected, motivated, and fully committed under Slot. Because if the dressing room is not in the right place, no tactical fix will matter. And until we see real signs of unity and energy again, the doubt will stay. That's it from us today, guys, and we hope to see you after the next one.